All right, welcome in everybody to the deep dive. We've got a really fascinating match to break down today. We're talking UEFA Nations League quarterfinals, second leg, huge stakes, Germany and Italy, and you've provided some seriously in-depth stuff for us to get into today.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. I'm excited for this. Should be a lot to unpack here.
So Sunday, March 23rd, 2025, kickoff, 7:45 p.m. GMT, and it all goes down at Signal Iduna Park, which is it's basically a fortress for Germany. Over 80,000. Think about that, right? 80,000 fans just roaring, and all for the home side.
Yeah. Signal Iduna Park, I mean, that's got to be one of the most intimidating places to play in the world, right? I mean, just the noise alone, it's like the sources you sent even talk about how like some teams have issues communicating on the pitch. I mean, that's a real thing.
Absolutely. So that's kind of what we're going to get into today in this deep dive. We're going to talk about both these teams, their form, how they play home and away, all the tactical stuff, big players we got to watch, and then of course we got to make some predictions, look at the odds, see what the smart money is saying.
Let's do it.
All right, so let's start with Germany, right? I mean, just look at their recent results. They've been on fire, like seriously impressive.
6 wins in the last 7 matches, man. That's hard to argue with. I mean, and they haven't just been squeaking by either. You look at that 7-0 win against Bosnia.
Yeah.
Talk about a statement. Right, I mean, that shows you the kind of firepower they have. And then, of course, they already beat Italy in that first leg 2-1. So, they're coming into this with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, and the sources are really focusing on that midfield, right? Like Kimmich, Goretzka, they're really the ones to watch, it seems.
Oh, yeah. They are the engine, man. That's what they're saying, right? The engine of their midfield dynamism. And it's true. You see these guys, their passing is just crisp. And then they make these runs, these perfectly timed runs. It's not just about moving the ball around. They're pulling the defense apart, and then bam, there's an opening for the attack. They switch positions so smoothly, you just can't keep up. It's amazing. They're really the heart and soul of this German team, I think.
Yeah. And then, of course, you factor in that home advantage. Germany's won their last 6 home games. They're scoring like it's a video game, pretty much. They call it a fortress, Signal Iduna Park, for a reason. And then you got that crowd, right? It's electric. 80,000 people going crazy. It's got to be a huge boost.
Yeah, and it's not just about the home team getting pumped up, right? It's like, think about being the away team. It's like a wall of sound hitting you. You can't hear your teammates. You can't think straight. The sources even talk about how it disrupts the opposition's whole game. You make mistakes, you lose focus. And a team like Germany, they'll pounce on that. They'll make you pay for every little slip up.
Right. So Germany, they're coming in hot. But what about Italy, right? Their form's been a little bit less consistent, it seems, more of a mixed bag. What do you see when you look at them?
Yeah, it's definitely been more up and down. They've got 3 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses in their recent matches.
Yeah.
So yeah, not quite at Germany's level at the moment, but there are flashes, like there's definitely potential there. The sources talk about moments of brilliance, and we know Italy has the players to make those moments happen.
Yeah, but it seems like while their attack is dangerous, Raspadori and Keane up front, they might be a little shaky at the back.
Yeah. I mean, look, Raspadori, Keane, these guys, they can cause problems for any defense.
Yeah.
Seriously. And they'll be the main guys trying to break down the German backline. But the question is, can the rest of the team hold up? Because the sources do mention defensive frailties, and that's a worry against a team like Germany, especially right now. If Italy has to score like 3-4 goals to win, that's going to be a tall order.
Yeah, especially on the road. I mean, their away record recently, it's not great. A couple of wins, some draws, a loss here and there. Not exactly what you want to see heading into a game like this.
Huge difference from when they play at home.
Yeah.
They're a different beast in their own stadium.
Yeah.
But on the road, yeah, it's a different story. The sources talk about this, how they struggle to find consistency in these foreign environments. And it's got to be at least partly mental, right? Like when you're not in your comfort zone, it affects your game. And that's what Italy's got to overcome if they want to win this one.
Okay, so we've got the form. We got the home and away records. Now let's get tactical. Let's talk about the actual game. What's Germany going to do? They got this really astute coach. What's he going to cook up?
Well, the smart money's on a 4-0-2-1 formation. It's pretty common these days. It's balanced, good defense, plenty of options in attack. So you got your 4 defenders, 2 holding midfielders, another 3 more attacking, and then the lone striker up top. Classic stuff. But then you add in Germany's specific tactics, and it gets interesting. They like to press high, they're super quick on the transitions, and they love to use those wings to attack. And guess what? That plays right into the hands of Kimmich and Goretzka in that midfield.
Yeah, Kimmich, he's pulling the strings from deep. Goretzka's bombing forward, causing havoc. The sources even call it a well-oiled machine. Like, everything just clicks. It's scary how good they're playing right now.
And you know, Italy's got to figure out how to stop that. And it looks like they're going to be more flexible, you know, maybe a 3-0 Euro 2, maybe a 4-0 3 3, depending on the situation. Sounds like they're going to focus on the counterattack. Yeah. You know, let Germany come at them and then hit them on the break with Raspadori's speed and Keane's agility. But that's going to be tough, man, especially
if they're missing some key players in defending.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Calafiori, the defender, he might not be fit. And the sources are making a big deal out of this, because if he's out, it could really mess up their plans. And Germany, they're going to be all over them. You know, they're relentless. If Italy's defense isn't at 100%, they're going to be in trouble.
So who are the guys, the individuals that are going to decide this thing? We've talked about a few already, but who are the real key players to watch? For Germany, I mean, it's still got to be Kimmich and Goretzka, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Kimmich, he's the maestro, you know, that passing range, the vision, the leadership. He's the anchor of that midfield. And Goretzka, he's like a box-to-box dynamo, wins the ball, drives forward, just relentless energy. But the sources are also talking about this young guy, Tim Kleinius. He's one to watch. Pace, intelligence, they're saying. He could be a real wild card.
So someone for Italy to keep an eye on, for sure. And for Italy, it's all about Raspadori and Keane up front. Right?
Yep. If they're going to score goals, those are the guys. They got to be on their game. It's all about that partnership. You know, how well they link up. Can they unlock that German defense? That's the question. But again, it all comes back to that defense. You know, can they hold up? Because if Calafiori's out, and maybe even some other defenders, you know, through suspensions, then Raspadori and Keane, they got to score 2-3 goals, and that's a big ask.
All right, so let's get down to brass tacks, right? What's going to happen? What are the predictions? What are the odds? And remember, we're just looking at the data here, right? No guarantees, but it gives us an idea.
Right. So the data's saying Germany's got this, like 60% probability of winning. Odds are around 1.67, so they're the clear favorites. A draw is less likely, about 20%. Odds around 4.50. And Italy winning, same, 20%. Odds around 5.00. So yeah, the numbers are pointing towards a German win.
Yeah. And the sources, they say, you know, the numbers and narratives favor a home win by Germany, but Italy's fighting spirit always leaves room for surprises. Italy, you never count them out, right?
They've got that history, you know?
Yeah.
Those big tournament wins, they can surprise you. And if you're looking at those double chance bets, the odds of Germany winning or drawing, that's pretty high, about 80%. Odds are 1.20. But if you think Italy might pull off the upset or at least get a draw, then the odds for an away win or a draw, that's around 40%. Odds are 2.50. So yeah, less likely, but not impossible.
Okay. What about goals? Are we going to see a shootout? A lot of goals flying in? What do the odds say about that?
Well, the over-under is set at 2.5 goals, right? Yeah. And the odds favor the over slightly. 65% chance of at least 3 goals in the game. Odds around 1.80. Under 2.5 goals, that's 35% probability. Odds around 3.00. So it's leaning towards a more open game, you know. Maybe some end-to-end stuff, but nothing too crazy, I don't think.
All right. And then finally, the sources even have some specific score predictions, like actual scores. What are the ones that are most likely, according to the data?
Well, the most likely score, they're saying, is Germany 2, Italy 1. Odds are around 3.50. Makes sense, right? Germany winning, but not by a lot. Then you got Germany 2, Italy 0. Odds around 5.00. And then a draw, 1-1, odds are around 4.20. So yeah, it seems like it's going to be close, you know. No one's predicting a blowout.
Okay. Interesting stuff. And the sources, they even have some betting tips, you know, based on all this data. What are some of the things they're suggesting?
Well, they like Germany to win, obviously. Odds around 1.67, as we said. They all think both teams will score. Odds are around 1.75 for that. And then for the safer bet, the double chance on Germany winning or drawing, that's around 1.20. Pretty good odds. And then over 2.5 goals, that's also a good option. Odds around 1.80.
And for the risk takers, the high rollers, what do they got?
Yeah, they got some parlays,
Yeah, sure.
those combination bets. So for a really aggressive parlay, they're saying Germany win and both teams to score, odds around 3.50, but that's risky, of course. And then for a more conservative parlay, they're suggesting Germany win or draw and under 2.5 goals, odds around 1.50. So yeah, something for everyone.
Absolutely. And of course, gamble responsibly, folks. But yeah, it's really interesting to see how they're using all this data to come up with these tips. It's more than just gut feeling. It's real analysis.
Right.
Okay. So let's bring it all together, for our listeners. What's the big picture? What should they take away from all of this?
Well, the bottom line is Germany's looking really good. They're in top form. They're at home. They got that crowd behind them. They're the favorites for a reason.
Yeah.
But Italy, they're Italy. They got that attacking threat. They can cause problems, and they never give up, right? So Germany can't afford to relax. They got to be on their game.
Yeah.
And then you got the tactical battle. Both coaches trying to outsmart each other, and then you got those injuries, those potential suspensions. It's going to be a really interesting game. The stats say Germany, but you never know with football. Anything can happen.
Great summary. And that brings us to our final thought for today. We've talked about a lot, right? Germany's form, Italy's away record, the tactics, the key players, even the odds. But what do you think, right? What's the one thing, the single factor that's going to decide this game? What should our listeners be thinking about as they watch?
That's a tough one. But I think it all comes down to Italy's defense. Can they hold up? Especially if they're missing some key players.
Yeah.
Because if they can't, then Germany's going to score goals. And that's going to be the difference. So yeah, keep an eye on that Italian back line. That's where the game's going to be won or lost, I think.
Interesting. Very interesting. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.